Hello, one and all. How are you on this lovely, wonderful Monday? I hope you had a great Sunday. I did. Uh, I was. It was a nice break. The 66-day challenge is done. We are now. Where did I just had the book? We are now going to be reading this for the next few weeks. Hey, Bob, how are you? We're gonna be reading Who Needs a Superhero for the next few weeks. Probably about 14 or so. Um, we are 4 subscribers away from 100, so hopefully Saturday sometime we will be able, as long as we have those 4 subscribers this week, which I think we will. Hopefully, we will be able to have that contest on Saturday sometime. I'm not sure what time on Saturday, as that is Comic Con here in Hamilton, and I will be attending. So somehow I think we will reach that 100 subs. Drawn and quartered fan edition this week will be on Chester Busty's channel, which I will be on, of course. Not sure what else to say about that. Trying to think of anything else for announcements. Hopefully Friday I may end up doing being late for the live drawing unless I am able to live stream from Art Crawl in downtown Hamilton, where I will be trying to sell some of the pictures I have been doing on here and maybe getting more commissions or any commissions. But if I'm able to do my live stream from there, I will live stream and draw from there. So that should be exciting. Yeah, not sure about exciting, but neat. So I'm going to skip the introduction in this and whatever they call it. There's the forward and the introduction. I'm going to skip and just get right into the first chapter. Each chapter seems to be about 10 pages long or just a little over. So I'm probably going to read 2, maybe 3 pages. Hello to whomever's here. I just want to, hopefully we can make it last just a week, maybe a little bit over, depending each chapter. Okay. Chapter 1. Superman, the saving sun from above. Look, up, look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's. You finished that line from memory, didn't you? That's a tribute to the enduring popularity of Superman, the first and still greatest comic book superhero of them all. The star of comic books, novels, radio, cartoons, television, movies, the man from Krypton in his bold red cape may well be the most recognizable figure on the planet. Even people who have never opened a comic book in their lives know about Superman. I found this out one evening when on the job. As a pastor, I was handing out bulletins and welcoming folks to a community Thanksgiving service. Oh, this is great. And today's Thanksgiving in Canada. So poetic. Okay. Um, in my lapel was a small pin featuring the triangular red and gold S of the Superman insignia. I had worn the pin to make a statement on my way to worship and thrown on the first sports coat within reach without noticing the Superman symbol. Everyone else noticed, though. I endured some good-natured joshing, ribbing, whatever you want to call it, about my secret identity being found out. By my secret identity being out of the bag, and I could really leap tall steeples in a single bound. Half the worshippers that night commented on my Superman lapel pin, but not everyone approved of my frivolously. Forgive my bad reading. Such frivolity from a man of the cloth. One dour faced woman shook her head and said to me, I know that can't be what it looks like. She stared at the Superman insignia, her forehead proud and mouth pinched. After a moment, her face relaxed and she said, I know, the S stands for Savior. Not exactly, ma'am, I replied. Again, wrinkling her wrinkled brows, she said, It must stand for Son of God. I shook my head. Then what does it mean? She asked with exasperation. I tried my softest, most pastoral voice, wanting to break it to her gently. The S stands for Superman. The poor woman drew herself ramrodded straight and radiated disapproval. But I leaned forward and added in a conspiratorial whisper, and Superman stands for Jesus. A hero of global proportions. It is true. Is it true? Does the strange visitor from another planet really represent the saving Son of God? Probably that's probably not what teenagers Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster had in mind when they created Superman more than 30 years, 60 years ago. Siegel and Schuster, second generation Jewish immigrants, attended high school in Cleveland. There, the boys dreamed up an idea that would become Superman. They envisioned a larger than life figure from another planet with superhuman powers and abilities. While Nazi Germany touted the Iranian Superman as a symbol of subjugation and conquest, Siegel and Schuster imagined a hero who would use his powers to defend the weak and uphold justice. Joe Schuster, the artist in the team, dressed their character in bright red and blue costume inspired by science fiction pulp covers. They dubbed him Superman, slapped the big S on his chest, and tried to sell the idea to publishers. Oh, that's the S in modern day since probably the whatchamacallit thing, the Man of Steel has been saying that, yes. But I think in the original, yes, it was his, I think it was his coat of arms. So, yes, it does stand for hope Kryptonian wise, but to most people, the S on the chest on Earth, it just stands for Superman. And that's probably what Schuster and the two guys meant it as at first. Well, they might not have meant it that because they did. Well, I'm not sure what they planned when they put the big S on his chest. This is part of the for lack of a better way of saying it, evolution of Superman. You know, things have changed with him over time. They've redefined different things. Just like we've talked about my characters, not everything is going to come at once. It's going to come over time as me and other writers do stuff with them. You know, you can get the basic concept story like the creators of Superman did, and then over time it becomes completely, I wouldn't say something completely different. Yeah, this book was written before the Man of Steel. This book was written Let's see, when's the first copyright? 2004. So that's the copyright, and it probably would have been even written before, slightly before then. So, but great question to ask, Bob. Okay, I need a push posters. The publishing world was underwhelmed by the visitor from Krypton. Siegel and Schuster wanted to sell Superman as a newspaper comic strip, but couldn't break into the field. As a compromise, the Cleveland creators packaged several strips into a short story and sold it to DC Comics. Or probably back then it was known as National, but will become quite very soon DC Comics. In those days, comic books consisted mostly of reprints from newspaper strips or original action stories featuring spies, explorers, cowboys, detectives, science fiction adventures. The red and blue brainchild of the two Ohio teens utterly changed the face of comic book industry. In 1938, Superman exploded onto the newsstand in Action Comics #1. On the cover, hoisted a car over his head while villains fled in panic. I'm not sure whether it would have been villains, but people fled in panic, yes. The editor nearly replaced the cover art, fearing readers would find the whole idea preposterous. His worries were unfounded. America loved Superman. The first issue of Action Comics sold 200,000 issues. Not really. Marvel has gone through two other names, Atlas and Timely. I think they started out Timely, then became Atlas, and then finally Marvel. And they became Marvel around the 1960s, and that's when a majority of their characters were created. You have a few like Namor the Submariner, who was created back in I think the 1940s. Also Captain America. I know there's a Human Torch from that era as well. Like I said, there's a few, probably a handful, maybe two that Marvel has from that era, but DC has a lot more. There are national publications. Pretty much anything that national publication, I think it was national publications, had back then, DC has now. It just slowly evolved from national to DC, like I said, for lack of a better word, to my knowledge, anyways. And I think it was more national, just gave itself a new name. Might have been the same with Timely, Atlas, and then Marvel, but I'm not sure of the full histories on all of them. Who is bigger now? At one time, it's hard to say who would be bigger. I think they're about equal. For the long time, the Marvel was doing the better sales, and Marvel might be making more money right now, but their books are more priced, highly priced. I think DC is doing more sales, but Marvel's getting more money because the books that they do put out are like a buck or two more than DC. And of course, there is the fact that more people are dropping off of Marvel because of all the social justice stuff that they're putting in there. So I wouldn't know offhand. I know there's people that delve into all these facts and figures that would know for sure. But like I said, I did hear that Marvel for probably the 90s for sure, they were doing better sales. Probably nowadays more DC, but I do have a lot of Marvel. I do have a lot of DC. I like I like more of the characters at DC for some reason. Maybe I'm more familiar with them. You know, like I grew up watching the Super Friends, superpower or whatever you want to call it. And that got me more familiar with them. Although I did grow up watching Spider Man, which I have an affinity to as well. I like Spidey. I like Wolverine. I like some of the X-Men stuff. Um, I like Cap. He's good, but I'm Canadian, so I only like him to a degree. You know, I like the fact that he's patriotic for the states and all. That's good. And of course, what else? I don't know what else. Of course, Iron Man's look good. The Hulk I might have I like a fair bit too because there was an old TV series called The Incredible Hulk. It was a live action starring Bill Bixby and Lou Ferrigno. Bill Bixby was David Banner, and Lou Ferrigno was the Incredible Hulk. And it's probably because of that I have probably more of an affinity to DC, just because I remember more DC stuff growing up watching than, but I don't mind Marvel except for this. Well, I haven't read a lot of Marvel in recent days. Uh, I just not real big on the social justice stuff that they're putting in. Okay, try and finish this page. Okay, actually, I might go to the next. There's these little captions. I'll go to the next caption on the next page. Anyways, okay, by issue 7, circulation had reached 500,000 in 1939. Yeah, I like the Marvel. I would say I like the Marvel movies more. But if you get into the comic books, well, for quite some time, their comic books weren't like their movies, and they still aren't, from what I know. You know, or well, for a while they were bringing out. They made Iron Man like a teenage girl, so in the comics, and this is where the movies are going on. So you get interested in movies, and then you go to the comics and you find Iron Man. They turned her into a teenage girl. Yeah, probably because you haven't read a lot of the comics, which is fine too. You like Marvel movies better than DC. For the most part, I'd have to agree. D's or the C's really dropping the ball on that one. But you don't see really too many comics selling that many comics anymore. Even 200,000 is a hard mark to get to. You're lucky for most of them if they get to 100,000 nowadays. If you watch stuff that's showing figures and all that, there's stuff out there that you can find the figures on of what each book is selling each month. Usually it's a couple months after the fact, but still it'll give you an idea. In 1939, DC launched a second comic book for a character. This one was titled Superman. Radio programs, cartoons, and an endless array of licensed products were just around the corner. Uh, in the original version, Superman was a tough talking hero with bulletproof skin, incredible strength. He didn't fly but traveled by an immense eighth of a mile leap. He was rough on bad guys and always showed up just in time to rescue the innocent victims of crime and oppression. The plot line for his story was simple enough, too. On the doomed planet Krypton, scientist Jor-El places his son Kal-El in a prototype rocket and blasts him into space, and the rocket departs. Massive earthquakes tear Krypton apart. Little Kal-El, hurtling through the void, is the sole survivor, the last son of Krypton. The rocket crashes in a Kansas field where an elderly couple finds an uninjured baby. Ma and Pa Kent receive the boy as a gift from above, raise him as their own, naming him Clark Kent. When Clark grows up, he demonstrates powers and abilities that set him apart from mere mortals. Eventually, Clark Kent leaves Smallville and moves to Metropolis, where he works as a reporter for the major newspaper. Once in Metropolis, the man from Krypton maintains a double identity. Meek and mild reporter Clark Kent dauntlessly and the dauntless hero Superman. Juvenile, preposterous. Even the most devoted comic book fans will admit that this is not a Pulitzer Prize material, yet something in Superman strikes a chord deep within many hearts. For some reason, we resonate with this gaudy character. What is there about Superman that makes him a star of global proportions? And that's it. All I'm reading for tonight. I don't want to go through the whole chapter. Um, uh, as you can see, I end it right there where it says, Man of Steel, Son of Earth. So that is where we'll take up tomorrow. Why was Superman that? Why was Superman that good? What made him a character people would want to read? I can only surmise for, it was a different time. Um, things were, I believe he was the first superhero. I could be wrong. Well, the first superhero in comic books. There are some that might attribute some other people to being superhero like before in different venues, genres. I'm not sure who they would be or whatever. One could say Samson of the Bible is superhero like, although not the dual identity, but he does have the superhuman strength. There are other characters in the Bible that demonstrate superhuman feats. And maybe after this, I'm done this book, or while we're doing this book, I might do some research on these different various characters and present something on each of them afterwards. As this was saying earlier, where was it? Did it say? In those days, comics books were mostly reprints of newspaper strips or original action stories featuring spies, explorers, cowboys, detectives, and science fiction adventures. So that's what comics were like back then, definitely very different from today. Well, they would have the panels and all that, just like you would have nowadays. Here, I've got some stuff here. Give me a second. Comics. Okay, DC. Do I got it? Just give me a sec here. I'm trying to find some. Seeing what you're saying. Just give me a sec. I'm trying to find. I've got some older comic books on my computer from that era. Let's see. Let's go up. Why can I never find something when you want to? Da, 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 da. Oh, so okay, so this isn't exactly This is okay. Let's see. Okay. I found Detective. I'm trying to find older comics books that I have on my system to show you what they were like. And I was gonna go for Action Comics #1, but I found Detective Comics #1, which is even before that. So we'll just basically skim through it. I'll share my screen, and then you can see it. So this is before Batman was made. So there's like ads, and then Speed Sanders and the River Patrol. Cosmo, the Phantom of Disguise. Brett Lawton. The Claws of the Red Dragon. And there's like 69 pages in this book, too. Gumshoe Gus. Bart Reagan, Spy. Eagle Eyed Jake. Silly Sleuth. Buck Marshall, Range Detective. Sam Bradley. Oh, I saw German stuff from World War II. What, in the book? Well, this would have been before World War II, but it would have been close. So let's see. Well, I'm probably going to start sharing my screen anyways, just because start drawing. But as you can see, the books back then were way different. They looked way different. The art, well, the art was what it was. So I think that printing was a problem. Well, yeah, it was a lot different for printing back then. They, for sure, but the art was a different style too. Well, most of that stuff I could do probably. Okay, let's see. Let's bring up. Okay, I'm now going to share my screen again and get on to the drawing portion, the remaster. Yeah, the color. Well, again, it was all the printing. It was a very rudimentary style of printing, especially for color. I think they were just bringing in color, or only some printers had it, or whatever. I'm not sure exactly. But yeah, it's definitely It was different. The printers were different too. We got better printing presses and all that today too. And it was also on newsprint, which again gives a different feel and no nothing not kicking newsprint. Newsprint is nice. Uh, but yeah, it was way different time for sure back then and how things were done and all that. Technology progresses, I guess. Okay, no problem. I understand. Uh, Okay, for those listening, this is my character. Okay, for those listening, this is my character, Butterfly Man. He's a character that one of my first character concept names that I came up with. It was basically supposed to be my replacement for Batman, but I at some point scrapped him, and then a couple years ago, or a year or so. Hey, Adrian. Okay, thank you very much. I had decided to scrap him, and like I said, and a couple years ago, I decided to at least draw him up, give him a look. I might end up bringing him back into my continuity, but he will be one of my World War II superheroes. Maybe even World War One, but probably more World War II. Just with a corny name like Butterfly Man, it more suits the World War One or before. Okay, talk to you later, Adrian. Have a great vacation if you're on vacation yet. So, yeah, like I said, I might end up putting them into my continuity. I don't know. Hello to whomever's come in and is watching. Whether it be Jessica, maybe Good Dog. Because I know Good Dog says he can watch but can't participate. Sometimes. So I don't know who to say hi to when it's nobody. Well, not nobody, but I'm glad to have you here no matter what. Hello to everybody watching. Give me a sec. I was just trying to get my view stuff to see what you guys are seeing. Caught up because it's a little behind. So the portion that I read from that book that's mentioned in the title and in the description has been read. You can go back later. You can go back now. Watch it. I will be continuing tomorrow for reading it at noon Eastern Standard Time. The second portion. So, and right now I am remastering a couple of my characters. One is a hero. The other will be supporting cast. Oh, and for those that are in the Hamilton area listening after the fact, or maybe you are in the Hamilton area right now and you just can't speak, this Friday I will be at Art Crawl trying to sell my stuff. So if you want to stop by, say hi, maybe even buy something, feel more than free to. Art Crawl is on James Street North, and it's supposed to run from 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. And for those also listening, I am now on DeviantArt. All the live drawings are up on there, as well as a section that I am calling Merged Comics. And the Merged Comics section is characters that I have sort of created. I've combined a variety of characters. Marvel and DC together. And I still have more to go, and I'm not sure when they will get up there. Some of them have actually drawn up. A lot more of them are drawn up. I just haven't digitally done what I'm doing here to them, so I can color them really nice. I was going to put some thickness to this, but I don't think I will. There was originally, but so let's see. Bob is back. Back is Bob. No, thank you. Maybe it's because he's got a full face mask on. I didn't have it to have to add a lot of detail. What am I missing here? Oh yeah, we need the wings. Okay, so I'm not sure how much you heard. This is Butterfly Man. He's a concept character. Came up really early in my idea for doing the superheroes. He was supposed to be my answer to Batman. I ended up scrapping him, basically, the whole idea. And, well, a few years ago, I just decided to do up a version of him. And I'm half thinking about bringing him back into my continuity, but he would end up being a World War II superhero and probably end up being part of the Secret Warriors from that time. Just because corny name, corny look, that's what the World War II stuff was a lot about. Well, some of it. I don't know. Like I said, I came up with the name, the basic idea that he'd be my version of Batman, and then ended up scrapping him. Basically, by scrapping him, I mean I didn't do any sort of back history on him or whatever. And he was just a name I had, and he was on a piece of paper, and I knew that I had him, and I found it one day, and I thought, you know what, I should do this guy up. Maybe I'll make him into one of my World War II superheroes. And it's not even for sure that I'm gonna bring him back into my continuity, but I probably there's a good chance I think of it. I don't know a lot about Iron Man's mom either. Uh, they focus more on his father. So if I decide for sure that I'm going to bring him back, I will probably at that, well, maybe not at that point, but once I know he's going to appear or when he's going to appear, I'll start deriving a backstory. Okay, was his dad in the? Yeah, his dad was in the Captain America movie. He's the guy that made the round shield for Captain America. So this is the father of my character, the Wiz. Who has the same name. He's like the second, or maybe will end up being the third. I just gotta work on some timing issues having to do with my whole continuity for the second or the third part. Yes, but Stark was in. Sort of makes no sense, really. Seeing as how grandfather or father, World War II, and then today's day and age, I think it would have been more of his grandfather, maybe great grandfather. Or I think it should have been, anyways. I think what they say his father. So why am I better on paper? Because I've done paper for years and years and years and years and years. I just got my digital graphics pad like a year ago, less actually, I think. So haven't had time to work with it as long as I have with paper. It's the same, but it's not the same. I'm not sure how to explain it. And then again, I think it's also a lot of times with this stuff, I'm not taking my time. And this stuff here, a lot of it too, not only am I not taking my time, yes, I want to improve it, but I'm not trying to improve it greatly. And I'm dealing with older drawings of mine. So you have to remember now I was as good as you see on paper for quite some time, but before I started doing that live drawing stuff, I wasn't showing how good I was. I'd only do like a most of the time I wouldn't take my time. I'd only do like I could draw half ass for 11 and get something decent where it would wow most people, and I could do it in like 5 minutes or less, probably a minute. But I decided I wanted to do commissions, and I decided that meant I had to slow down and show people what I was really capable of. If I slowed down for this and I took probably an hour or two or whatever I take on paper too, I could probably show a lot better. I I I can't say for sure. All I can do is spout out theories. And like I said, most of the stuff you see me do here is I'm just tracing what's already there. Yeah, I'm making it slightly better. But did you watch that new champions thing? Especially if you go right near the end. Well, maybe not right near the end. When there's a couple women I have to draw in, but I can't. I'm not tracing over anything. So when I'm tracing over something, it sucks. Well, it depends on what I'm tracing over. If what I'm already tracing over sucks, the drawing that I'm going to be doing isn't going to be probably much better. And there's the thing: everything that you see here was once on paper, so it's just scanned into the computer, and I'm just tracing over it. Mind you, it's my own stuff I'm tracing over, but so really, if you think a figure sucks on here, it's how it was before, especially for the women too. Like I said, if the closest thing at the moment, when will it completely go digital? I don't know. Um, if you go to, like I said, that new champion video here, let me see. I'm gonna stop sharing for a sec. Um, I don't know where I am. Okay, so okay, I'm about to show you something I did digitally, completely digitally for a woman. So there'll be some talking from it. I'm not sure you can hear. This is my new champions video. Some of it will be fast, some of it won't. Picture. And I can't. People have. Those numbers are. I'm. It's part of my multiverse. This team is actually a team that travels throughout the multiverse. They've been gathered from the multiverse, and they're the numbers for the universe that they're from. So this guy with the cross circle on the cross, he's from universe number 2567, or what's been designated universe 2567 from character that you can't see on screen right now called Space Warp. Universe 1 would probably be my character's space warp, but he is a different from a different universe than my normal continuity. Just because he's from an alternate dimension, he's labeled his number one, like we would most likely do if we were dimension hopping or multiverse hopping. So to him, his one is number one. Yes, they can touch each other without causing a paradox. It's not time travel per se. It's just alternate dimensions. Well, or not alternate. I would say timelines, but not even timelines. It's timelines, but it's not. Different things have changed, affected the worlds in different ways for the alternate universes, timelines. But as you can, basically you can see with this, which is really what I was wanting to show you. This is taking my time. Some of it's sped up, so when I take my time, I can be better even digitally. I know this isn't the best, but and then let's see. I'm gonna speed up to another section. I have to do another one freehand. Okay. I think it's saying I can see that this female is better and live drawn. I'd like to see you putting your time to do the best to. I think that's remake or not necessarily want to see what you're capable of. I want to know if I'm far behind you. No problem. And I'm going to stop that because then I go into coloring it all. So you don't need to see me coloring it all. Unless you want to go watch it later. But digitally, yeah, I suck. I know it at the moment. I'm not bad if I take my time. And once I get through a bunch of my redraws or remasterings, I probably will do some stuff on. And it's like I said, most of this stuff on here, it's because it's already bad as is. I'm just trying to make it look a little better, not a thought. You know, I'm trying to make it 10 or 20% better, not, 1,000 times better. Okay. Why is this not going? So basically, yeah, you're right. He should have a ring. So basically, you want to see. So basically, I want to see your best. I get that. Like I said, after I get done a lot of these remasters, I don't want to take forever on these remasters because, and although they're not the best, when I do an Indiegogo, they're going to be in it. They're going to be in a second video that I'm going to create. Just saying, I have all these characters, you know, free. I've got characters for years to come. Blah blah blah. And they're gonna go by so fast that you'll be able to see they're half decent. And I just want to showcase that I do have the characters. Oh, oh, what? Doing a real good digital stuff, and then I probably don't practice digital as much as I should. This is practice, but for sure. And doing this remaster stuff, you know, doing it on this was double fold. I needed it to know I had needed to get it done for that video that I was talking about. But it also gave me something to do while on here after, reading the Bible and all that. Something more than just reading the Bible, something that people can be interested in or somewhat interested in. With that, yeah, I'm not sure what you mean by. I should say I'm not sure quite what you mean by doing a special. A special time where I just do a live drawing on the computer. Yeah, and like I said, those things aren't bad, but those aren't even up to my standard. Those aren't even quite as good as my oh, whatchamacallit? My papers yet. My paper stuff. They're not bad. And probably if I put a lot more effort in, I'd be even better. And then I'm only doing half this stuff with not knowing a lot of the program and what this program I'm using can really, really do. I need to go through a lot of tutorials, but in doing that, I want to have some better computer, some better screen. You know, I'm dealing with like what 15 or 16-inch monitor or view screen, seeing as how I'm using a laptop. I'm not sure whether you want to call the screen on the laptop a monitor, but like I said, half of why I think half of the reason too is I don't. I'm slightly making these better, but just enough so they're better than what they did. Like paradigm. I'm not sure what that word is. a second. Just need to undo him. Oh, okay. Well, I know what past. Well, past stuff like. Oh yeah. Uh, oh, past verbiage. Okay, that's good, I guess. I take it that's an Italian word. Yeah, I think Spanish have a word for that too. I forget. Yeah, you could, for sure. The thing is, usually I forgot a line there. Oh well, I'll repair it in a bit. Um, Fortunately or unfortunately, businessmen usually have black shoes. So, and he is supposed to be a businessman. So, excuse me. Make the clock golden. What clock? Ah, shoot! I forgot to put it in his other eyebrow. I didn't put on his watch. That's part of his white shirt. Sort of like that there, but the back should be a button there or something. No problem. But yeah, if it was a watch, you'd be right. It'd be great. Be best to put it golden or brass. Why did I do yellow? I don't want yellow. White. How do you say this number? Usually I say it 1,500, but people are known to say it 1,500 as well. And the odd time I do too say 1,500, but usually to me it's 1,500. I can't say why for sure for everybody. It could be because of maybe one possibility is military time, because they refer to stuff like that in the hundreds as well. 100 hours, 200 hours, 300 hours, 400 hours, 1,200 hours, 1,500 hours. That could be a way that it's made its way into society. Other than that, I can't say for sure. That would be my best guess, but something I've been curious about too. Um, I know some Canadians do it, so I can't say just Americans. I wouldn't know whether people in like London, England do that or not, because I don't know too many people in London, England. Again, it would be nice, neat to know about something like that for sure. Ah, well, I don't think people in South America would do it, and I don't think Mexicans do it, but I could be wrong. I think it probably is maybe a Western thing, a Western world thing. But again, I can't be 100% sure. People in Europe don't use the word Europeans. Yeah, I wouldn't think so. Well, that makes sense because to you guys, you're all different countries. Where we will, yeah, yeah, true. Okay, so let's see. We got most everything done here. We just so let's hide this wig. So A band. Yeah, it does depend on where you live. Most Canadians don't want to get confused with the United States. I know we're similar, but we're not exact. Just like probably Italians don't want to get confused with Spaniards or Hungarians or whomeverians. Yeah, and I just more mean confused as in, all being from Europe, think, Italians are different than Spaniards and Hungarians in the way they act and blah, blah, blah. Where, yeah, your languages are different. You can't necessarily get them confused that way, but most Americans and probably most Canadians wouldn't know the difference between Italian, French, Hungarian, Spanish, and hearing them. It's just all Greek to them. Yep. Now, me, because I've taken French and I've taken Spanish, I might be able to slightly tell the difference. I'd be able to tell it's not one or the other. Oh, I don't doubt that, but maybe it's a phrase you haven't heard, but a lot of times when somebody's speaking another language or somebody speaking something somebody doesn't understand, the joke, for whatever reason, I don't know where it came from, is it's all Greek to me. It may be all different, but it's basically all the same to me because I can't understand it. And that's what I think it means, anyways. Ah, okay. So you say it's all Arabic to me. Okay. Well, that's neat to know. Somebody uses the same joke, just a different word. Because you wouldn't expect a Greek to say it's all Greek to me about stuff that he didn't understand. So it makes sense. So there is Larry John Airman called second, maybe the third. I don't know yet. I gotta get time. When I get my comic book out, I'll have to figure out the whole timing of things. When I started developing the character, second worked. Being 20 years later, not quite so much. I respect the queen in the fact that she's a figurehead. She has the most power in the country, but she seldom ever uses it, if ever anymore. So I respect her. I'm not sure. Like I said, she's a figurehead. She's a queen. I give her that sort of respect. You know, somewhat as an authority, but with her not using her authority much, she's just become a celebrity in a sense. No, the queen is not immortal. Oh, I know. It seems like it sometimes. She seems like she's never gonna die and pass on the mantle to her son, which will probably now go to her grandson instead of her son, or her son won't have it for as long. That's for sure. Uh, I think there's good things and bad things about Trump. I think he was the better of two choices, personally, between him and Hillary. I think he's done more good for the country than Hillary could have ever done. And I know he's can be an idiot at times. He usually speaks his mind, which is good. You know where he actually stands instead of, uh, you know what? Like I said, you know where he actually stands instead of some weaseling politician telling you what you want to hear. Nope, he is not your president because you don't live in the states. He's not my president either, but I'd rather have him as my prime minister than Justin Trudeau. My what do you? What's your top thing called in there in Italy, anyways? Like, what's your president? Here in Canada, we call it a prime minister. I'm not sure what they call it in a lot of other countries. Italy can't have a top. Okay, how does your government work then? If you don't mind me asking. There is a newer kind of king. It's really complicated. Okay. Well, still, if there's a newer kind of king or more most powerful, then he'd be might not be called a president or a prime minister. He'd still be, or she would be top dog. Yeah, but maybe they can get their power stripped away easier or whatever. I don't know. I don't like getting involved in politics too much in my country. Getting involved with it in other countries. Just because the states is so much in your face. Basically, people vote for groups. Those groups, basically, people vote for groups. Those groups will vote for the leader of that group. Okay, I think I get that. Well, you still, at the end, you have a top dog, really. It's the states does it, and I guess here in Canada we do it in reverse. We have the groups, the liberals, the the progressives, PCs, progressive, the conservatives, and those groups vote for the leader of their party, as it's called, and then we have an election, and people vote for the party, but the leader of the party becomes top dog. How many art do you have? How many accolades? Do you mean members of parliament or members? Uh, um, I'm not. I think for all over Canada, I think there's like 300 or 400. But we have. I'm not sure how many people you have there in Italy, but we have like 35 million here. I'm not sure how many the states has either for a thing, but for their Congress. members of Congress or whatever you want to call it. And the states is sort of similar to our system. They have their couple parties and they vote for the leader of the party. And then when you go to vote, you vote for the party. Although I think they have a popular vote so they can vote for the leader too of the country. I'm not sure completely. I'm not completely involved in how they do things. I just know it's similar, but I know it's different. Like in our city here of Hamilton for Parliament, for federal Parliament, we have 4 or 5 people from the city representing us because the city's divided up into certain sections and certain sections vote again for the liberal PC or the liberals, the conservatives, or some other party. We got several parties and they all have their leaders. Okay, I meant basic rules. For example, the first article of Italy is that Italy is a country based on what? We have our what do we call it? Well, uh, ah, we have 2 things. We have our what are they called? I should know this. It's. I was gonna say it's something similar to the states' thing of independence, but it is, but it isn't. Oh, what is it? We have our laws too. What is? We have a Bill of Rights, which, and then we have Constitution. There, we have our Constitution, and we have a Bill of Rights. And I'm not sure how long they are and how many things there are in each of them. And our Constitution says, different things about freedoms and all that. And like I know the Bill of Rights says Canadians have the freedom of expression as in a multicultural setting, or something to that effect. Yeah, I'm not sure. We have, like I said, we have the Constitution and we have the Bill of Rights. I'm not sure how long either of them are offhand. I think the Bill of Rights is fairly short. I think there's like 14 or 15 points on it. Or is it the Writer of Charts and Freedoms? Could be both. I think we've had both. And then we do have our Constitution, which was written at our founding of a country 151 years ago. Yeah, I'm not sure of all the points for the Constitution. The Constitution is obviously longer than the Bill of Rights or the Bill of Charter of Rights and Freedoms. I know I could easily look it up here. Let's see. Yeah, I study this stuff. It isn't called politics. Is what I saw. Yeah, it isn't called. Yeah, yeah. Well, the Constitution and stuff like that. It's politics, but it's more rights and freedoms of your what your country was founded on. The Canadian Constitution is about. Yeah, they like giving things fancy names. Yeah, the Canadian Constitution. Here's something that just says I'm on the Canadian website, Government of Canada website, and it's under about Canada's system of justice. So it's about that, and basically your rights. And then we also uh, the difference. I was just searching it to see how easy or whatever. I don't got it in long form here or whatever. I just got a overview of it on the website. The only problem, Bob, with looking up the Italian one, I can't read it. In some ways, that's good, but bad. They should be able to be touched, but it should be hard to touch them. Would be my thing because here in Canada, I think ours are able to be touched, but they're able to be touched a little too easily. So, yeah, well, I think that's good because then if you touch them, it means something. You're not you got to have a lot of people agreeing. You just can't do it willy nilly, and that just means can't do it on a whim. Just you need probably most of your parliament agreeing on it rather than not agreeing. The one thing I saw was, here the Italian Constitution, the Constitution of the Italian Republic was enacted by the Constituent Assembly on December 22nd, 1947, with 453 votes in favor and 62 against. And there's more. That's from Wikipedia. That's just reading off what I found on Yahoo search. So, no, I don't like the death penalty because too many times, and too many times can be just one, but it's more than just once, that the person that they found that got the death penalty has been found to be innocent after something. So I don't think killing somebody for crimes is right just because you might have the wrong person. Or if you're going to, the evidence better been an eyewitness right there. In Canada, we do not have the death penalty at this time. I think we used to. I know in parts of the states they still do, or at least as far as I know, they still do in different parts of the states. But we used to have it in Canada. I think some people would like to bring it back. I, for one, wouldn't. You know. And then there's the fact that well, depending on what you believe, even with what you believe, they're getting off easy if you give them the death penalty. Well, they don't know Christ, just not getting off so easy, but you know, I think living in jail for the rest of your life is a lot better penalty than killing somebody. Hey, good dog. Ah, you got the day off. Awesome. You got the Canadian Thanksgiving off. Isn't that nice of you to give them the Canadian holiday off? Cool. Oh, yeah. Columbus Day. Oh, wow. Oh, Manny, I'm not sure whether you got my thing on Facebook. You know, how much do you know about the print thing on Deviant Art? Or do you know anything? You mean don't know? Don't know. Got to research. Okay. Yeah, I was doing some research myself, trying to figure everything out. I think they'll print it for you, do the prints as people want them. They won't print fan art, so any characters that aren't yours or whatever, they won't print. That's one thing I got. I'm just not sure what the pay ratio is. Because I think I found out a little bit after no, I did not see the drama with Antonio. Who is Antonio? Somebody in our community, or or do you mean by you mean Bryce? Antonio Bryce? Seems like it wouldn't be Comics Gate without some. What happened with Bryce? Oh wow! Because of his something in his Santana is brand. See his video. Okay, I'll watch after this. Okay, well, I thought there was something else. Satana. Yeah, I thought when you said the stuff with him, the drama with, how did you put it? I thought it was something other than SJW stuff. That's not too bad, in my opinion. I'd rather that sort of drama than internal comics gate drama. I thought we had some sort of more internal comics. Okay, we'll catch you later, Bob. Yeah, I'm done for now, and I guess we're done talking politics. I'll be on tonight about 10 o'clock doing my character, The Flame. Remember to hit that like button on your way out, Bob, if you haven't already. Hey, Pixel. How are you? Okay, see ya, Manny. That's two out. So I guess it's just me and you, Pixel. Turn me down. Oh, we got 5 in here. Okay. Cool. Although, seems then I so I guess you're not sticking around too long either, Pixel. We got 6 viewers now. I'm basically done, and that's weird. I guess I think I'm done then, since there's no interaction or whatever. I'm done what I was going to be doing for the day. Okay, so people remember to. Are you going to be going live, Pixel, or not? Okay, so people remember, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you get to subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Okay, I'll pop in. Pix, after I'm done here and I watch Antonio's video. Hit the ring the bell to know when I'm putting up stuff. Comment, share. Check out my other content. Check out the links in my description, which are there. Not yet there yet, but by the time you're most likely watching this video, they will be. Because as soon as I hit that stop broadcast, I'll be putting them in. Check out also Good Talk Press channel and be here tonight when I draw my character, the Flame. He's gonna get you all fired out. So bye for now. God bless. Love everyone. Have a great and wonderful day in America, your Columbus Day. Here in Canada, your Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving and happy Columbus Day. Bye for now. God bless. Love everyone.